everyone. Welcome back to Sideshow Collectibles. I'm Jeff May. Super excited to bring a rare sneak peek at an amazing piece. Check this out right here. We have the Spider-Man Advanced Suit 1/3 scale statue by PCS as popularized by the amazing game Marvel's Spider-Man. We're going to take a look at this, and not only that, but I am joined by one of my favorite people in the world. Host, personality, all around good guy to know, Coy Jandreau. Coy, thank you so much for joining me.
This is I just like, I also all of those things, and Spider-Man Zealot is like the asterisk of my name.
Yes.
So this is just everything.
Official Spider fan, Coy Jandreau. Had you around here, had to pull you in so we could take a look at this. Now, this is so cool. This is a very, very rare opportunity that we have right here because we just got this back. We just got this. This is a very cool prototype. And the piece here, we want to take a look at this. I am super amazed at both the base that we have here and the detail that is put into this piece. Now, Coy, you told me something really funny about this game, right?
So I hadn't played a video game, like any game, since Spider-Man on PS2 until they announced Marvel's Spider-Man, and I actually pre-ordered the Spider-Man PS4 just for this game. So I have the red with the white, like red across the top, like the staggering, beautiful PS4 that is this game. And I sight unseen, I hadn't played the game, hadn't played a preview, because I hadn't touched a game since 2007.
And what'd you think of the game?
It changed my life. I didn't stop for 3 days. I canceled plans. I actually did not see people on purpose.
He's like, it was a problem.
I'm now back to being a gamer, but only this game. So seeing this in person is... the detail work, the folds here where he would need the extra space to actually use the articulation that Spider-Man, his agility, they actually have some detailing there. And then the actual webbing in the eyes, not like webbing per se, but the details in the eyes that show the reflective quality.
The little hatching in there, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a double-sided mirror.
One of the cool things about this that I really like is the pose.
Yeah.
The first thing when I saw it, because this was, and I can't stress this enough, wheeled in in like a security situation.
Yeah.
It was like watching somebody bring like a president in.
It was
or
like
something.
Vegas when they've got all of that and you're like, oh no.
And the one thing that I couldn't stop noticing at is just how well put together this is from base to pose.
Yes.
The pose is a very Spider-Man pose. It's got that kind of exaggerated foot forward, that sort of McFarlane push of the foot in there. The hands, really, really cool. Very, very sort of... I want to say like evocative of emotion here, of action, of movement.
Well, right? I love the kinetic nature of Spider-Man and how it's hard to make it exaggerated enough to be Spidey in a real 3D setting. Like it's hard to translate Spider-Man because he is like the McFarlane exaggeration. So to have a 1/3 scale look this dynamic, like they really got Spidey.
Yeah, and another cool thing, and the first thing that you brought up, by the way, which was really funny, was the base.
Oh God! I mean,
your
Mr.
first
Negative,
thing was you were just
kabuki.
like, look at that Mr. Negative base. And it's great too that you and I both immediately went to two different things.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really cool. So we take a look at that base. It's obviously the Mr. Negative design here, but look at the sort of the contrast and the colors in there. It's kind of, and I'm not sure if our cameras are even picking up sort of the dynamic coloring, the bluish, grayish greens that are all mixed throughout that really bring this as a really strong piece. And look at the back there. It's got that sort of whirlwind pattern here.
And the details in the color, like you've got actual like gradation here, and it feels like it's moving because Mr. Negative's power set is so energetic, and everything about him like has these thrushes of power, and this is reflected in all of this.
I am stoked to be bringing that piece. I actually really like the costume design. My original initial reaction to the Marvel's Spider-Man design was me like, huh. It was kind of like, oh, that's what you're doing. And I have grown to this design. I have really sort of globbed onto it. I like the white spider design.
So beautifully.
It does. And my initial reaction was because I'm so used to the black sort of muted spider pattern in there, that to have something that was that kind of flashy. And then I was like, but Spider-Man is flashy.
It's also a great trace pattern for the game because he's moving so quickly and fast.
I got him looking at you on the camera. Look at that. He's looking at you.
But the hands and the feet having the traces of white along with the white spider, whenever you have him on screen, you can tell what motions he's making and where he's going. It's a great use of white.
It's really sharp. I do like that. I like the detail at the bottom of the foot. If you look at that,
I just love the sneaker approach. It's a great.
Yeah, it makes sense. The sort of the threading pattern, the like texture
and
on the
it's instantly
legs.
iconic. What I liked about the suit was that it reminded me of both Ben Reilly's new Spider-Man suit and the classic Spider-Man with a tad of Venom. Because the white spider obviously reminds you of that beautiful flash of McFarlane. But remember when Ben Reilly took over Spider-Man, he had those like half leg and like the half arm? That reminded me of this so much, but it still feels iconically Ditko, Spider-Man, OG Peter Parker all at the same time.
Yeah, it mixes a lot of the things that you love about the designs of Spider-Man into one. And you wouldn't think there is the possibility for you got chocolate in my peanut butter, you got peanut butter in my chocolate situation, and it works really well.
And that's a weird Venn diagram of those three very different flavors to land anywhere, much less in a 3D element. Like this is a truly actualized version of that suit, and it doesn't look anywhere, doesn't look off.
Yeah, I like, and shout out to the folks, the kind folks, PCS. The lines coming down the back here. I'm so afraid. It's such a nice piece.
As it swings around, I'm like, it's too close.
I mean, they couldn't have been more on it when they were like, this is a prototype.
Please.
Do not destroy this. And I'm just like, okay, you put it on.
I will touch that and only that as it spins.
I'm not going to touch anything. I'm gonna the fact that I'm even touching the Lazy Susan here to spin it around, super nervous. I'm like, what would happen if the table collapsed?
No earthquakes in California.
But the piece is so strong and it's so dynamic. And I think as a 1/3 scale, when you look at something this big, you really have to knock it out of the park. And they really did. Like, look at that pose. Like, I'm gonna leave it in this position right here so the camera can really pick it up. But that sort of, the colors are so bright. It really is. This is I guess we'd call it a signature piece, a cornerstone piece. Like, this would be a piece that you would build a collection around.
I agree with that.
In a way. And sort of, if you're a gamer, more than, because like there's the Spider-Man aspect, but this was nominated, Marvel Spider-Man nominated for Game of the Year. So many awards were sort of thrown towards it.
It got me back after 12 years. I'm a personal bias, but it got a lot of people back.
Yeah, but I mean, that also stands to say that, there are a lot of Spider-Man, there's a lot of Spider-Man merch out there. And this piece really does sort of scream out to those that really found something in the Marvel Spider-Man game. The people that did go out and buy an entire system and a game for it.
I was so impressed by the game building mythology that was new, but also reflected the character. There's so much heart in that Spider-Man story, and I love that the suit, like we were saying before, reflects so many different time periods, and so did the story. And then with the details of this is you can see things you can't see necessarily in the game because you do have this in front of you.
Yeah.
Like you can see the details where it like wraps around his calf, where that cloth would have to have that little bit of give. You see the different textures in the different types of cloth he would have had to use, and you can pause a PS4 game all you want. Having it right here, you'll get different flavors.
Yeah. And the realism in something that is inherently unreal,
right? The impossibility of this
is a great addition to that. So I'm really excited. Now you can check this out. We got the right sort of here in the corner, but check it out. You can get in on that right now. Again, this is the Spider-Man Advanced Suit 1/3 scale statue by PCS. Obviously indicative of the amazing Marvel's Spider-Man. Coy, I am so happy to have had you here for this. I couldn't have picked a better person to show up and talk about this amazing piece with me. Don't forget, everyone, to check that out, and don't forget to let your geek side show.
My name is Titus Welliver. Presently, I'm on an Amazon original series called Bosch. I was the Man in Black, aka the Smoke Monster on Lost. Jimmy O'Phelan on Sons of Anarchy. I'm an actor. Well, I'm a collector, then an actor, in that order. I grew up in the 60s, so the toys of the 60s were really kind of great. You had, of course, G.I. Joe, the Green Hornet, the Justice League. As I became older and wasn't playing with them anymore, I stored them, but would sort of periodically kind of revisit them, take them out of the boxes and kind of look at them and remind myself how much pleasure they had brought me as a kid. I found myself very, very drawn to it. And it was that kind of visceral revisitation of seeing these things, and I realized that they had a bigger impact on me than I actually realized. 'Cause 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 This was sort of the holy grail of the Indiana Jones stuff, Toys McCoy. Great box. These are sort of the new generation of the Star Wars figures, which I think are really, really great. Older Chewie and Han from the box, because I have to get more shelves. I would say 1/10 of the actual collection is displayed in my screening room. I sort of lay the blame squarely on the shoulders of Sideshow, that it just progressed into a quasi-obsession, and now I've really amassed this sort of ridiculously large collection and still continue to collect. It's that visceral experience of being surrounded by something that's moved you and stimulated you in a film or in a comic book, and now you have the ability to have that kind of tactile experience. It's a part of who I am. My name is Titus Welliver, and I am a Sideshow collector.
Hi there, folks. Welcome to another Sideshow unboxing. Today we've got the Spider-Man Miles Morales premium format figure by Sideshow. Let's get started. First up, we've got the base. There we go. And you're going to want to put some of these pieces on in a particular order. This piece of the base is getting connected here in front with this key going into this keyhole. Next, you're going to want to put on this piece with this kind of long key going into this long keyhole. And then here is another piece with another long key going into another long keyhole. And that's a magnetized fit. So that's the order you're going to want to use. Next up, the tongue piece with a large key going into a keyhole right in the center. And now we can finally put Miles's body on top of the base. Now for Miles's body, there's this long key that goes into this keyhole. You're going to want to kind of line it up to make sure it's going on at the right angle. His knee will actually be right above this piece. And so we kind of guide this in like so. And now let's put on his left hand right here. This key going into this hole like so. Now, before I finish this up, I do want to remind you, if you're watching this on YouTube, click on the subscribe button and be sure to also click that bell icon next to it to be notified anytime we release a video, because you're not going to want to miss any of these, especially some more of these unboxings. All right, last up is the portrait. And there you have it. The Spider-Man Miles Morales premium format figure by Sideshow. Well, this has been another Sideshow unboxing. Thank you so much for joining us today, and don't forget to let your geek side show.
From our hands to yours.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sideshow New York Con. And you are watching the Matinee Show straight from our booth. I'm Wendy Lee, and joining me today is Jeff May.
It's Jeff May. I'm so excited to be back into the studio to take a look at all this really cool stuff.
Now I know you're surrounded by so many goodies, but just before the viewers saw us, they were seeing you and friend of the show, Koi, looking at this amazing piece by PCS.
This is a piece, and I'm sure everybody just saw me talking about it with Koi. I'm in love with this piece. This is one of my favorite pieces that I have seen here at Sideshow, the Marvel Spider-Man from PCS Collectibles. I am so into this piece. I love the design. I love the pose. I love the base. There isn't a thing about this piece that I'm not in love with. So I'm so excited that I got to talk about it with you today.
I know. Me too. What my favorite part about what you and Koi did is both of your excitement over this piece. And now that I feel like that excitement is extremely contagious because now I'm getting amped up with it all over again. So tell me exactly what is it about this piece that you like so much?
All right. Well, for one thing, I am a big fan of the design of Marvel's Spider-Man from this piece. Like I love the white highlights.
Yes.
When I first saw it, I wasn't originally sold on the white because I was like, that's not the Spider-Man that I'm used to. Immediately, I was like, this is amazing. This is absolutely fantastic. It was very, very quick. I love those white highlights. I love the white of the spider on the design because we're so used to having a black spider on his outfit.
So it sounds like, Jeff, we aren't able to hear you. So just to kind of relay Jeff's excitement for this piece, obviously we know this is from the Marvel Spider-Man game. And as Amy and I talked about it earlier, if you caught us on the morning show, we were kind of just geeking out over not only the dynamic action pose that we see Spider-Man in, but the form down here with the, I would like to call this a ghostly yellow, ghostly green, and it just looks really, really fantastic. Really, really dynamic. So of course, I continue to share Jeff and Koi's enthusiasm over this piece. And again, if you are interested in this, you can go to PCS's new website, collectpcs.com. And again, that website is collectpcs.com.
Wendy, I think I may have hit mute
Oh, boy.
on my thing because I'm going to let you in on a thing. I'm not a tech guy. I might have hit that, and hopefully my audio is there. But you can keep talking at me just in case it's not, or else this is going to be very boring.
I think we are okay.
Perfect. Now, I was going to say earlier, and I didn't mention, but those white highlights on the costume really pop because it's such a non-traditional look for Spider-Man.
Yes.
We're so used to having the black spider logo on there that to have that white really pop and show up really knocks it out of the park. So I'm really, really into that. The pose, the costume, the way the eyes look. There isn't a thing about this piece that doesn't make me excited.
Yeah, I know. And I do love the details even in the hand and again, the eyes.
Yeah. Spider-Man's costume is one of my all-time favorites.
Of course.
And seeing the different variations of that really make me excited. So I'm a huge fan of it.
Well, kind of along the same vein as Spider-Man, I want to turn our attention over to Venom. This is another piece by PCS. And earlier today, we had seen a different portrait on Venom with the tongue out. So Jeff, you're getting a special treat as our viewers at home as well. This is the second portrait, and this is kind of like he's grimacing, growling. Argh.
I really like the character of Venom, and he's really grown on me a lot. I mean, I was there sort of from the beginning back in Amazing Spider-Man 300, really enjoying that and seeing the evolution of that character. I had spoken about this actually on Tuesday, involving a different Venom piece that I love the evolution of like the McFarlane designs, the Eric Larson, and all these great sort of things, and what's going on now
Yes.
with Venom and the popularity of the character growing and continuing to grow. This thing is so intense.
It is, isn't it, to be in its presence?
Well, this was a surprise for me.
Yes.
You guys wouldn't let me back here until we were right
I
about...
told you, I'm sorry. I had to tell you no until I wanted to give you the reveal, and it was mostly for me because I wanted to see your reaction.
Well, it's funny too because in the booth when I walked in, I saw the Spider-Man piece and I was familiar with it because I had seen it before. But now you turned me around to this Venom piece and it really blew me away. I can't stress enough the size of this piece.
So
and
tall.
The texture.
Yes.
The visible texture of this piece, when you look at it, oftentimes when we saw Venom, especially me as a kid, when I got Venom toys, obviously they're going to be very sleek.
Yes.
You know, it's going to be a very smooth black plastic that you got with
Yes.
those toys.
Of course.
But here we have this expert sculpting that you saw here from PCS Collectibles. When you see the striations in the muscle,
Yes.
when you see that sort of like oily
Ooh, good use of
texture.
that word, striation.
If
Jeff,
I can't do words,
I'm here for it.
What am I here for if it's not words? The oily texture that we have on there. He looks like an angry, sort of like an oil slick.
Yeah,
you know,
with
like,
all the symbiotes flowing off of his body.
There's like that massive texture in there, and then to see that coming off there, you can see the power in that. Whereas you see a lean Spider-Man, you get that sort of like bulky Eddie Brock version of that character, and to see it sort of really push forward is great. One of the things that I really like about the Venom is the feet. And I know that seems something that you wouldn't immediately think of, but we're so used to seeing just like a boot.
This is true.
But
this
like,
is true.
Would that be the case if you're just a dude wearing a symbiote costume? You'd probably have toes.
You wouldn't have symbiote boots.
No, you wouldn't have just a boot. Symbiote's like, I'm not going to wear boots.
When I can do whatever I want, not a boot.
Fashion designer, I just have toes. And so that is like one of those little highlights that you really like. And I also like that sort of opaque milkiness of the white. It's not
right
not
up
like
here.
A bright white out white. It's a kind of like a milky version of that. So it pops, but it doesn't pop in a way that you kind of are like, oh, that's aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. It seems natural, as in it's peeking through. And I also like kind of in the abdominal area, sort of that gradient effect with the shading.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love. And that's what I like about this piece. And we talked about it a little earlier, even though it is pretty much black, there's different textures to black, different shades of black. And in comparison to sort of the muscle and the veins on the body, if we come down to the base, it's that oily slick that you were talking about with the glossiness.
Yeah, the last thing I want to talk about before we move on, 'cause you told me I get to
this is
be a
your
guide
time, Jeff.
And I want to go, but one of the last things I want to talk about is sort of the texture and the detail in the teeth.
Yes,
You know,
the
we
slimy teeth.
Yeah, the plaque and the tartar in there.
Tartar.
You don't necessarily think about like the coloring of the teeth, but there are some pieces when you see it and you're like, that's expertly done.
Yes.
And this is a piece that is expertly done, and at such an amazing scale that you're like, that's impressive.
It is so impressive. It is so tall. Right now, it is taller than you. And I didn't think that was possible.
You know what? Anything's possible at Sideshow New York Con.
Sideshow New York Con, where things are possible.
Now, Wendy, while I have you here,
Yes.
I'm just going to have the camera point right at you because I want to take a look at the Star Wars Mythos line.
Oh, I've been waiting for you to dig in. And I was wondering how long it would take before you kind of honed in on this. So go crazy. Okay. This is yours.
I am a huge Star Wars fan. I think people know that. If they don't, get to know me better.
Pretty obvious.
I like Star Wars.
We like Star Wars.
It's pretty obvious by my... I'm not wearing anything
by
Star
your
Wars,
awesome Sideshow New York Con shirt.
Yeah, by my shirt that I like Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I loved reading the books, both as a kid and as an adult. I love the new storyline. I love the Star Wars Legends stuff.
Absolutely.
I love diving deep into, and this is, I just realized I'm going to make a terrible pun here.
It's okay. I'm ready for
diving deep into the mythos of Star Wars.
Social distance high five.
Now, that being said, the Star Wars Mythos line is a fascinating line.
It is.
And something that I've picked up on some of the many tours that I've been on through Sideshow is that essentially what the Mythos line is it is sort of Sideshow, the artist, sort of a reimagining or excuse me, an interpretation of a filling in the blanks.
Yes.
Kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And what we have in the Star Wars Mythos line is a lot of stuff that fans have been clamoring to see that they've never seen.
Yes.
And there are a lot of pieces in here, a lot of fan favorite pieces, stuff that is people's grail. You could see that Mythos Obi-Wan statue right in the middle. That is considered one of the biggest grail pieces for any Star Wars collector and Sideshow collector.
I can see why.
You can take a look at it. You have the sort of like the younger Alec Guinness head sculpt in there. You see him walking. You can notice he has several lightsabers on there. He has both Anakin's and Qui-Gon's lightsabers as well as his own. You can see his Clone Wars general armor. He's using it as a backpack. He's got a gaffy stick in there.
Yeah.
I believe a portable moisture evaporator, a hunting rifle. It is such a cool piece. I'm obsessed with it.
As you should.
I think everybody is.
I think everybody is. I think in general, people are, the pun's catching on. In general, people are a fan of Kenobi.
Yes, general people are a fan of this people.
Of General Kenobi.
And it's such a great piece, of course, that we ended up with a Mythos 6 scale Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. Now you can see here with a similar a young Alec Guinness head sculpt here. Fun fact.
I think I know what you're about to say.
The episode of Strike a Pose, in which super producer Sam robbed me and Josh E.G. of victory, we did a pose off with this piece, and I got to play with it in a lot of intricate detail. It's
Yes.
so fun.
Maybe we should do it one day, maybe behind the scenes, like a
Like a strike.
unofficial rematch.
I'm gonna do it's gonna be like Strike a Pose, but it's gonna be called Grab the Figure. And what that's gonna be is, as soon as you're not looking, I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna run to my car and take off.
We're gonna have Jeff May has left the building.
Now, one of the newer pieces that we just announced, if we're gonna move a little bit here,
Absolutely.
closer to me, is the Asajj Ventress.
Oh, she is stunning. I love her.
Such a great character.
Yes.
We saw her really killing it in the Clone Wars. Such a great character, such a great arc. And now we see sort of her in that very witchy vibe that you can see right in there. God, it looks so good.
She is such a special one, just because I don't feel like we really get to see Ventress in this sort of a way. And as a special treat for everybody who is tuning in to us live at home, we are flipping the figure around so you can kind of take a look at the other side, because there's so much to see with all of these Mythos figures, and I'm glad that we're able to show the other side for Ventress.
And shout out to producer Jeff for doing the rotation, because I don't want to break it.
You and I both. So those were producer
It's such
hands.
a great piece. I know. Of course, I never would. But that Asajj Ventress, when that was announced, this was one of those, we kind of have these break the internet moments, these things that people have been waiting for such a long time. And a surprise, a fan favorite character that I think the people at Sideshow also agree didn't get enough love.
Yes.
And so working through there, we have another classic piece right behind her with the Gamorrean Executioner. Such a rad.
Absolutely rad piece. And since you said the word classic, I just want to go ahead and remind you folks at home that we are showing you both the classic Mythos along with the new pieces, which is why some of the ones you see on display are no longer available.
Yes, they're no longer available, but like as a display, as a museum would,
Yes.
we took these out of our displays.
Yes.
Just to show them to you, because I think it's kind of cool to see that.
And maybe someone haven't seen these before yet, up close and personal.
Yeah,
Well, up close and personal.
I
in
like
quotation.
the idea of the Gamorrean Executioner. I think that the musculature of that character really, really cool, and the idea of what exactly was going on at Jabba's palace that we weren't seeing.
Yes. Some behind the scenes look.
Yeah. Next to him, we have the Emperor/Darth Sidious, however we want to refer.
Oh, I love this
I believe it's Darth Sidious officially, the Darth Sidious Mythos. And this one is one of the newer pieces. And this is one that is available. And it kind of really reminds me of a piece we're going to see in a little bit. When we talk about, we're going to take a look at the Darth Vader.
Yes.
But the sort of I believe it's Mustafar.
Yes.
That we have on there with the sort of the heated reflection coming off of there. We see him both with the Force lightning as well as Sidious's lightsaber.
Yes.
Which is a really, really cool combination of those two things. Because we usually with the Force lightning, I mean, we saw a little bit in episode 3, obviously.
Of course.
But it was either, the Emperor kind of shocking and,
Right.
kind of like, oh,
Hey.
yeah, I'm going to shock you. Just like I did to Dad. But we see this sort of, remember when Sidious took out the lightsaber and everyone's like, oh.
Yes.
I remember seeing that
Yes.
at my midnight showing and just being like, oh.
Whoa, that's a thing.
Yeah, but we see him sort of now in the black robes, because remember when we first met Darth Sidious officially in the violent capacity. He was wearing, I believe, those sort of the royal red robes.
Yes.
And now we see him in that classic imperial black robes with that. Such a cool piece. You have him kind of hovering a little bit, doing what the Emperor do.
Yeah. I really like that small detail. Well, I actually don't want to, say it's a small detail. It's a big detail that it's floating, because a lot of what we see today is about dynamic posing and sort of the magic that the sculptors and the creators and the artists are able to create. How many times can I use the word create in one sentence? But
Not enough.
to make it look like he's really floating is completely magical. And of course, I love the dynamic, the flow of the movement of his robe. And you know me as a cape girl. So give me all the capes.
Take all the capes.
I am sold.
It's cool too, and one of the things that you brought in that I want to bring up too, the art teams behind these pieces.
Yes.
I don't think they get enough credit, at least when we're talking about these things. We become the voices and the faces of these things. And I want to say, art direction and sculpting and design and painting and
paint.
everything like that.
Yes.
Those teams really do knock it out of the park. Now, next one we'll see, this is one of our classic Mythos pieces. It's Darth Maul.
Oh, so good.
Sort of, we get sort of a training vibe from him, maybe. We don't really know that official story right there, but we
Right.
know that he is going through it.
Isn't Maul always going through it though?
He's got a lot on his plate.
You wonder, yes.
I'm a huge Maul fan. I mentioned on Tuesday with my man Brad Gage, I still have my Phantom Menace Darth Maul blanket
Oh my gosh, do you
that
really?
I got as a graduation gift from high school.
Amazing.
Still have it.
It's vintage now.
It is.
You can't.
It's-
I'm betting you can't get that anywhere anymore.
It is. It is very hard to find. A VHTF. Now, next to Maul, we have another classic piece. This is what my favorite of
Is it?
of the classic Mythos pieces is the Darth Vader. This, to me, we see Vader a lot,
Yes, we do.
and when we always see Vader, it's very sleek. It's very polished.
Yes.
It's wearing all black, wearing the
Kind of a
helmet.
stoic, serious
Intimidating.
vibe. Yes.
What we have here is one of those moments of reflection that
A little internal turmoil.
exactly. We see this very often. I mean, obviously we saw it at the end of Return of the Jedi, but you see it a lot in a lot of the novelizations and
Yes.
a lot of the comic books, that sort of inner conflict that he deals with the Anakin versus Vader aspect of it. And we see here, I guess you could say, at the scene of the crime.
Yes.
And one of the things, the reason that I am obsessed with this piece, aside from the amazing sculpting and the sort of the way we can see Anakin's head, you can see he's not as old as we had him at the end of Return of the Jedi. I believe it was Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
Is the name of the actor.
Yes.
What we have here just is like that sort of middle-aged Anakin.
Right.
The paint on this, the way you see the lava reflected in the black, unbelievable.
That's something we really haven't seen before as far as in a statue or figure. So I really like the colorization. We were just talking about the artistry behind all of these figures. So this is something that definitely showcases that as far as that goes. I really like that because it's a reflection, like you were saying, of him moving, as he goes on his journey from Anakin to Vader.
It is, in my opinion, like a very elite piece in that regard.
Yeah.
I really like it there. Now, next to him, we have a much newer piece.
Oh, yes.
This is a piece that when we saw debut, everybody lost their minds because we have the Darth Maul Mythos, and when we see that here, this is a sort of post bisection. Is that what we say when you get cut in half?
I guess yeah,
this
that
is
would be the
sort
right
of,
terminology, right?
after he used his hate to keep him alive, and when he was found by his brother Savage Opress, and they sort of build him back up, and and he sort of takes over. I believe it's the Black Sun. Is that what it is? I have a lot of stuff, a lot of neurons firing in my head
A lot of
right
stuff
now.
in your head, yes.
But yeah, one of the things I love about this piece is the sort of growth of the horns
Yes.
on there, to sort of as a vibe of sort of like he's really become sort of an unkempt, almost like he's hit his the savage level of his horns, I believe,
And I believe there's another portrait as well.
which is really exciting.
Yes.
The fact that there is that
With the shorter horn and what you see right now.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of gives like the crown of rage.
Yes.
Is the vibe
the
that I
rage
get
portrait
from that.
versus the I don't know what you would call the other one.
It's standard.
Standard.
We'll call it standard Maul.
Standard Maul
Which
portrait.
is pretty ragey anyway. Like
He
standard
is
Maul,
rage.
Yeah,
He
he's-
is rage.
He's not super chill.
I really like the movement too, and sort of that using that force, honing in on the dark side to kind of jump off the base, that's the crumbled base that we have there, the power, the sheer power and the rage.
The base is almost exploding. You get like almost a superhero vibe to that base as it's taking off in there. Really kind of exploding on there on a shattered statue of the Emperor.
It's very symbolic.
It very much is. Another piece that we want to take a look at right in front of him here, because we don't want to ignore the General Obi-Wan Kenobi Mythos. Right now, this is more of a younger Obi-Wan.
Yes.
This is a newer piece. This
Newer
piece
piece.
is available for pre-order, I want to say. I don't have that specific information off the top of my head, but I know this is a new piece.
And we're gonna give our viewers at home a treat right now by spinning him around so you can take a look.
One of the cool things about that is the detail that went into the smoldering battle droid.
Yes.
The battle droid that has been destroyed
Oh,
by General Obi-Wan Kenobi
Yes.
as he moves himself forward through whatever conflict that we are having. Whether
Yes.
this is a reestablishment on Geonosis, who knows?
yeah.
But one of the things I love about that is that we have given a lot of credence to the Clone Wars,
Mm-hmm.
which I think Star Wars fans have really been clamoring for, especially from Sideshow.
Yes.
You know, we love the Clone Wars because remember, everybody here at Sideshow, huge fans.
All big fans all around.
If you're not a fan, you don't do this job. If I can be 100% like,
This is true. It doesn't feel like a job.
no,
When you're
absolutely
surrounded by
not.
all this.
The general Obi-Wan Kenobi piece here is sort of, we see it's before the fall, but there is a very sort of war-worn quality to him.
Yes.
You know, he has worked really hard, he is tired,
Yep.
but he's going to keep moving on. And that
Yeah.
sort of stoicism that we get from the character, that sort of
Always a step
translates over.
ahead. Always thinking ahead.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, and always thinking mindfully, which I think we could all use every once in a while.
And I do have confirmation that this Obi-Wan Kenobi Mythos that you're looking at is available for pre-order.
I like that.
Me too.
Now, behind him, I believe we have another classic piece, and this is the Boba Fett Mythos.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Where?
Right behind General Obi-Wan Kenobi, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Look at that.
The Boba Fett Mythos, I'm not 100% sure if we carry that story on, but we have a very Tatooine vibe in here.
Yes.
Like, he's going to be wearing the robes to sort of prevent the sand damage going into the crevices of that Mandalorian armor.
Yes.
Boba Fett, obviously, such a massively popular character, but there is sort of that feeling that people get, which is what can you do with an armored character in a mythos? Now, with Vader,
Yes.
it was going to be a very important, iconic move. But with Boba Fett, the mystery is so important to the character. And that sort of, we have a very sort of spaghetti Western vibe to that.
Yes.
A very man with no name.
Absolutely.
Sort of like the tunic that's going over there to sort of protect him from the heat and the sand.
I totally agree.
Again, one of our more popular classic pieces, a piece that, again, was so popular
Yes.
that we, just like the Obi-Wan, came out with a Boba Fett Mythos 6-scale figure,
Oh,
which is
man.
going to be towards the center here, right next to our Ben Kenobi Mythos.
Front and center.
Now, this is a piece that I was lucky enough to watch Guy Klender get to play with.
Oh my goodness, what a
Sort of
treat.
Unsealed and Revealed. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. You can kind of play around there. The Wookiee braids are there.
Yeah.
You can see the movement in the posability
Yes.
of that tunic
Yes.
as well. It really has a
I'm
great...
dying to touch it. It's very hard to want to contain myself because, like we've established already, I'm a cape girl. Anything that sort of has movement, it could be posable, I want in. So I'm trying to restrain myself right now.
Yeah, he comes with that classic Boba Fett. I believe it's the EE8 blaster that we see right there. I'm such a fan of the character. I'm a big Bounty Hunters fan. I had this conversation earlier today, actually, when someone was asking me what my favorite character of Star Wars was.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm an IG-88 fan.
Oh.
So if the people it's Sideshow are missing, I wouldn't mind a Mythos IG-88. I know that's not going to
Just got
happen.
to put it out in the universe. You just never
You know
know.
what I'm going to do? I'm going to go onto Sideshow's website. They have an area where you can suggest
You can
statues
suggest.
and pieces. Maybe I can get that done.
I'm going to do the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same. And together we will conquer.
I'm going to put a campaign. I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm just going to put a campaign for a Mythos IG-88. But I love the Bounty Hunters. Dengar, Zuckuss, Forlorn, IG-88, and of course Boba Fett.
Cad Bane.
They are the ones. Even, I can go, yeah.
Yes.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane's a great one.
Cad Bane. Go even deeper. Deeper
Yeah.
cuts, kind of like Joss Purr. In
Wow, that's
the
deep cut.
cantina scene.
Deep cut.
I'll do them. I'll throw them out there. Don's Boren, even. Yeah, I got them all decked.
There you go.
I do really love that. I love the Mythos line because I'm such a geek that while I love the stuff that I've seen on camera, I love the stuff that I haven't.
Yes.
And so I do really like that.
You have full on the kid in the candy store expression right
I do.
now.
You can't see. I've got my mask on. You can't see
But
my
your eyes
smile.
show it. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
My eyes show it. My eyes show my age, and my age shows my smile.
We're smiling. We love it. As you look around the booth that we are in, what other piece catches your eye? What makes you smile?
Well, there's one piece that obviously catches my eye. I wouldn't mind taking a half a second to look at.
Right in the center of the room.
Because I can't ignore this. I can't ignore this piece right here. We have the Iron Studios Joker. I believe this is a 3rd scale.
It says it
This is
right on the plaque.
1/3 scale statue. Really captures Joaquin Phoenix's vibe from this.
The likeliness is uncanny, even to the teeth and the makeup and the wrinkles.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It really is one of those things. The color is really fantastic. One of the things that I want to call attention to, one of my favorite things to see on statues is water effects.
Yeah. It's not easy to do.
No, we've seen them a few times. We saw them. I know Sideshow put out a She-Hulk statue that had a really cool water effect. This one right here really captures that vibe of the stairway, going down in the stairway to the song that I get a suit if I start singing it out.
But it's playing in our head.
It's in our heads. We all know the one. I would be remiss if I just pretended I didn't see this. I like that there's this is very funny. I like that there's garbage on it.
Yes, it's all the little details. It's accurate to the movie. It really puts you right there in that moment, kind of his transformational moment, if you will, really a big turning point for the film, from the stepping into the puddle to the water being kicked off his shoe, the little bit of blue socks that's peeking through, and even the little bit of wetness that we see on the steps. And did you take a look at the back of the space and notice the little extra something there?
Oh, I am. That is really cool. That is a really fun addition to that.
A little newspaper clipping, nice Easter egg, and on it you can details down to the weather for the day.
I like that. One of the cool things when you were like, I want to touch it, when we were looking at the Boba Fett Mythos piece, I want to touch his shoes.
Don't do it.
Because his shoes look like real shoes.
Can you believe it's sculpted? The wrinkling, the wear on it.
I want to touch those shoes. Shout out to whoever the art team was on this.
Wait, is that really sculpted?
Piece.
I can't.
I want to touch those shoes.
I put my hands behind my back when I stepped in.
If you see me, I'll walk be in the camera. My hands are behind my back
all the time.
Touch those shoes because I don't trust myself.
Yeah, for Joker fans out there, for fans of the movie The Joker, or should I say Joker, this is definitely a must-have in the collection. This is definitely a 360 sort of a display. You don't really want to hide the newspaper clipping on the back.
No.
So I think this is really important to kind of. This is why this is in the center of the room.
It's funny.
So you can walk around.
A lot of times I'll be on the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group, and I'll see these collections that people have.
I'm on that too.
And they have the podiums in the middle with those on there, and this would be a piece.
This would be it.
For those of you that are, it would be great as a corner piece anyway, because it is a cornered piece.
Yes.
If you needed space and you had it, it's edged to that way, but you could do that. But you're right about sort of all the detail, the 360-degree detail on this piece really is fantastic.
And of course, Jeff, I've seen you slowly inching closer and closer to our Hot Toys.
Who, me?
Who? Never.
Who, me?
Yeah, you've been slowly inching your way over to the Hot Toys. So let's go ahead and have you talk about Hot Toys.
I'm a big Hot Toys fan. Of course, I mentioned earlier before, but I'm the co-host of a show, Unsealed and Revealed. And oftentimes we get a lot of Hot Toys because it is a 6-scale themed show where we take a really good look at them. And I've gotten to go get a real appreciation. My co-host, Guy Klender, he is an enthusiast / expert of these things. I've seen a couple of these things on my computer screen as we talked about them. This is my first time being this close.
Wow.
And I am really into it. I want to talk about the Spider-Man 2099.
Let's talk about it.
Which I get ripped apart for saying 2099. Everybody, and this is based off of Marvel's Spider-Man, the suit from Marvel's Spider-Man. So it's Peter Parker in there, I believe. But that suit, I grew up reading comics right around this era, reading that comic and watching the Rick Leonardi design of Spider-Man 2099. See, I say it, blew me away.
Yes.
It absolutely blew me away. The smooth texture on this, the absolute perfect way that they translated this costume, really blows me away.
I like the different textures and the different finish on it as well. We have a little bit of that semi-glossiness, a little bit of the glossiness, and of course the red. It just really, really stands out against that blue. Yes.
The logo that we see there, that red sort of spider skull-ish kind of logo that you see on that chest. So cool. And I really do love that. Here's something I haven't seen yet.
Okay.
Which is the Spider-Man Armory miniature.
You haven't
series.
seen it yet.
I
Well,
have not
take a
seen it
gander.
yet. I really, really love this kind of mix of these armors, right? We go through there. One of the ones, my absolute favorite, when I was a kid reading Spider-Man, there was a great storyline called Revenge of the Sinister Six.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Eric Larson
Yes.
is the artist on that. If we look at that one second to the left, that is a very reminiscent design from a scene from there where he gets these cybernetic enhancements. The fact that I'm seeing that on an officially licensed product, blowing my mind.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, and we have such great pieces here. We have that, the classic, we have the Scarlet Spider. So cool.
I love the display. The armory looks fantastic, and I love the additional touch of Doc Ock's arm poking out on the one on all the way on the right there.
Yeah.
It looks really, really, really awesome.
Next to that, we have that Iron Man Mark IV holographic version, another piece that we got to do a little unsealed and revealed on. I like that we have the hollow, hollow, like H-O-L-O.
Yes.
Not, I was like, hollow means two things. That's a homophone, right? I love that it kind of makes me feel like it's like a tech schematic vibe to the piece. Like if you are a Hot Toys collector or Iron Man collector, this piece is one of those ones that you can have the Mark IV, you can have the hollow one, and you can create a really cool visual.
You really
with
can.
both those pieces, or just on its own, because
Yes.
just that vibe is really cool. You can see through it, you can see the tech through it,
Underneath it,
which is so rad to me.
it's been done before. This is such an interesting way to do an Iron Man 6 scale, and I believe there is a light up feature as well, which makes it all that much more interesting.
It is really
So you can kind of have this as your, if you want it off, the light up feature off for your daytime display, and then light up for
Yes.
your nighttime display.
Yeah, and especially if you're having a dinner party.
Oh,
And you have
impress
those
your guests.
displays on. You want to impress your guests.
You dim the lights.
Turn up that light up holographic Mark IV Iron Man 6 scale from Hot Toys.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of pieces I've never seen
Let's talk about those.
because I'm pretty excited about
Oh yes. Well, it's right next to Iron Man.
Taskmaster. We
Yes.
have right here. Taskmaster, one of my all-time favorite villains in Spider-Man. Spider-Man in Marvel.
In the Marvel universe.
I got Spider-Man on the brain in here.
How can you not after coming from
Yeah, right.
all of these?
In all the way back to when he first appeared back in Avengers, earlier, 130s, a while ago, to see him being ported into the MCU in Black Widow, to see them sort of implement the skull pattern and design,
Yes.
such a rad choice.
Wow.
I really like that because there was when people are like Taskmaster is coming, and you're like, how are we going to make that work?
Well, they made it work because the movie's coming. Obviously, we don't know
Yeah.
of anything that's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
But this is just it amps up our excitement for what's coming.
Yeah, an expert fighter, somebody who can sort of read fighting styles, predict them, and operate with them, so you don't know who you're fighting. You could be fighting him as Captain America, and then adding a little Black Widow move, some Hawkeye stuff. I mean,
Definitely a dangerous opponent because he knows what he's up against,
Yeah.
and maybe his opponent won't really know what to expect.
now to be fair, I will say this: that's the comics version of the character. I haven't seen Black Widow.
This is true.
I don't know what his skills
It's all
are.
speculation, right?
And now, right behind him, of course, we see the foil, Black Widow, in the white costume that we have seen.
Suit, if you will.
We've seen that teased to us.
Yes. In the
Really,
trailers.
how much are you looking forward to this?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I am patient and I will wait.
Yeah.
But I also can't wait.
One of the things about Hot Toys that I'm really excited about is their sculpts started amazing.
Yes.
And somehow keep getting better.
How do they do it?
I don't understand that because they've always been Scarlett Johansson's vibe, like the visual
Yes.
translation of it, and yet somehow it looks more and more realistic. This is incredible. Look at that face.
It's the likeliness is really uncanny, down to the little her signature beauty mark, if you will,
Yeah.
that is on her face. It's crazy. I feel like when I get up and close personal with this scale figure, I am looking at Scarlett Johansson herself, Black
Yeah.
Widow herself.
Yeah, it is such a cool thing. I love that for the hair, the way they have the hair. And I love that braid.
The braid.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
That is cool. Behind her, I want to take a look at our Whiplash 6 scale. Now, this was a piece from a while ago. It has now since been updated. Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Interesting movie. Here's the thing. Amazing character.
Whiplash.
Whiplash was done so well.
Excellent.
And I am a huge, like, for any of you who might know me, I want the Iron Man, the Mark V. That's my favorite armor. That fight on the Monaco Speedway, one of my favorite scenes in the MCU. I absolutely love it. I love this character. I loved how Mickey Rourke portrayed the character. I like that we have this version of the character.
Yes.
You know, towards the end of the movie, he was just kind of like in an Iron Man suit with the things, with the whips.
Right.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yes.
But this one
This
right
is it.
here, that real cobbled together vibe that you get from the character, that you know he's not giving up, that you know he's got something going on.
Oh, yeah.
And they really nailed that. God, that looks so good. And we have the electricity
Coming through the
that
whip.
goes through it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the special effects, obviously the likeliness, down to the costumes, down to the wrinkles, and
Down to-
every little, the tattoos.
The base.
The base.
I want, you look at that base and you have the Monaco Speedway.
Yes,
ground
that's
there.
right. That's
You
right.
have a chunk of the racetrack in there. God, I really like that they brought that piece back. It
Yeah.
also makes me feel hopeful. I'm hoping that maybe they'll bring that Mark V back as well. 'Cause it was one of my favorites. So maybe I can complete this. I'll get the Whiplash. I'll put it out there.
Yes.
I'm
Put
putting
it
it
in
out there.
the
If I
universe.
get Whiplash, which I am getting the Whiplash, then I'm going to have to get that Iron Man Mark V to create that interaction. Now, finally on the Hot Toys podium here, the piece that I wanted to hold off to the last, we have Barbara Stan
And it's
Lee.
okay, we have all day, so we can also come back to these
Okay.
a little bit more too later if
We
you
can.
want to. Yes,
We can.
absolutely.
We have Barbara Stan Lee from one of my favorite movies that we have had so far, which is Thor Ragnarok. One of the cool things about Marvel movies, it was looking back and seeing what was Stan Lee going to be doing in the cameo. And so I love this piece right here. He's not as old as he used to. It's what gave Thor, or not as young as he used to. It's not as steady. Gave Thor that iconic haircut.
Yep.
Love these stand pieces. They're super popular for a reason.
Of course, the legend himself.
This is one of those ones I'm looking forward to as well. So that's the Hot Toys podium. I am a fan.
Woo!
Oh,
It got sweaty in here. I share your enthusiasm, Jeff.
filled with joy.
Well, Jeff, I'm so glad that we have more time to spend here in the booth. And of course, we are not done exploring the booth yet. Your excitement, it is not over. I know you want to get to the next thing. But right now, we do have an episode of Strike a Pose coming right up. So this episode was not filmed this year, which is, so when you don't see a social distancing, that is why, because it was filmed previously. But for all of you fans who are fans of Strike a Pose, we do have new episodes coming up, and that'll air tomorrow and on Sunday. So make sure you tune back in. You don't want to miss those. I promise you that. So we're going to go to that episode of Strike a Pose right now, and Jeff and I will be back for more goodies after this.
Yeah, we will.
Sideshow New York Con is now closed for the day. Please make your way to the nearest exit. Sideshow New York Con is now closed. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You. Yeah, you. Listen, look at me. I'm talking here. It's time to go.
Hey everyone, welcome to Strike a Pose, the web series from Sideshow in which we pit 3 contestants against each other in a 6-scale posing battle in which they fight to win the figure they're posing. Each contestant will be given 15 minutes to hit the best pose that they can. When the time's up, they'll all be graded on a scale of 1 to 10 in 3 categories: creativity, composition, and character. Alright, let's meet our contestants. First up is Emily. Next to Emily we have Titus. And last but not least, Anna. With that out of the way. All right, the time has come to reveal our figure. Is everybody ready? Could everybody see? Here it goes. Oh yeah. Everybody knows I am a big fan of concept art, and this is one of my favorite new figures to come from Hot Toys in a long time. It's the Captain America concept art version. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, all of our contestants have their figures. Contestants, are you ready to pose?
Woo!
Yeah.
Sure.
Right on. Okay, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin.
I can't remember if Captain America's left-handed or right-handed.
I think he's actually right-handed, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's right-handed. Because in Avengers, the first one, they've got that really cool scene where he's got the gun in one hand and the shield in the other. And you were
Oh, that's
distracting
true.
me. That was your plan all along.
Yes, it
wasn't
was. Yes, it was. Let's ride bikes.
Are you guys right-handed or left-handed?
Left.
I'm right-handed because I'm
I'm a
blind.
lefty too, but that means I can.
You can nudge.
We've reached the point in our competition where we're going to insert a previously unmentioned condition.
Get ready for some bad language. Kids, don't try this at home.
Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser.
Come on, Cap, stop being a
So that's just going to be the majority of the show, is us fiddling with the shield, trying to make
Fiddling
it
and
work.
swearing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, okay.
But it looks like a slide.
Okay, contestants, stop.
Who's meditating?
Everybody pause for a moment, thank you. We've reached the point in our competition where we're going to insert a previously unmentioned condition. So if you're using a shield in your pose, we want you to switch to the other shield.
Dang it. Fine.
You know how long it took me to get this shield in his hand?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Can you use both shields?
You can use both shields.
Okay. So we're still good.
Oh, what an overachiever. Both shields. I think this is rigged.
Okay, Emily, talk to me. What you got going on there?
Okay, so without giving away too much, I mentioned a little earlier that I adore the first one. So that part of Captain America just kind of being like a pinup cap, just a little.
Pinup cap?
I would
Always
never
go
have
for
even
pinup.
considered that.
I always go for pinup poses, especially with my Star Wars figures. Especially.
Titus, what's going through your mind? Yeah, what do you got going on there?
I'm going for some action. I'm going for motion. I'm going for pain. I mean, I always sort of feel like these things, typically when I have stuff at home, a lot of the times they're just kind of standing there. But there are times when one of my kids will say, let's do something, and we'll pull them down. And
Let's play with our toys, Dad. Come on.
damn right.
They've got the right idea. How about you, Anna? What are you thinking about?
Just put together something I think I'd like to look at every day if Cap was on my desk. Something that would make me smile. I've always felt that 6-scale figures have too many hands. So I'm trying to make better use of the hands. I really want to emphasize that point.
I have a little glass container of hands on my desk. It's great.
40 seconds left.
Come on. Now he doesn't know.
20 seconds.
See, I tried to rotate.
All right, everybody. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. We're done.
Oh, that's another show. Sorry.
All right, Emily. Job well done. What do you think about what you've done here?
I'm really happy with it. You know, I always like to try and not use the stand because Stan limits you a little bit, you know. But it hasn't fallen over, so I'm very happy with it.
So far, so good.
So far.
Yeah. I like what you did in so far as the pinup idea is concerned, but really what something I never would have thought of before this is using one of the character's hands as a means of displaying another accessory. I mean, that's something that would not have popped into my head before seeing this. You broke with character a little bit, but I think it's to the benefit and adds to the creativity. Love it.
Thanks.
Titus, man of action here. Look what you've done. What are you thinking of? What's he doing here?
He's getting ready to open somebody up with that shield. He's ideally I'd have him more up in the air, but I couldn't get the stand to hold him up. I wanted to have him sort of somewhat airborne, that he's coming in full with that part of the shield to open somebody up.
I think we've seen him do that once or twice in the films. Yeah, I've got a good image of that. Yeah, composition. Wow. Out of the park. This is, I just love the curvature that you've got going here. I'm gonna just bring this back around so that the camera can see. But I really love this curve that's going here. It just kind of implies that he's getting ready to carry that shield forward. Everything about this pose suggests something dynamic and action oriented. Really, really dig it. He's definitely in character. All right, well, that's great, Titus. Thank you. Ann and I are just sitting here debating the finer points of human evolution. And wow, okay, talk to me. Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of What If. So what if Captain America had to team up with Doctor Strange to provide a distraction? Oh. And so he, transformed his feet into hands, and he decided to break dance to distract.
Dance off, bro. Yeah. You definitely score high marks for creativity on this. I was talking to Titus earlier, and I think that Dolly came up, and that's the Dolly reference is definitely hand in hand with what you were talking about with Doctor Strange.
Hand in hand.
I see what I did there inadvertently.
I think that's very generous of you.
Neither of you two were able to see each other's figures, and the fact that you both brought these hands to bear as a means of supporting the shield, and I never thought of it, never would have thought of that before today. Wow, okay, job well done. I love it. Creativity? Composition. Character. We had a lot of creativity on display here, but the winner is... The results have been tallied, and we have a winner. Is everybody ready for this?
Ready.
Yeah, okay. Well, we had a lot of creativity on display here, but the winner, with a score of 23 points, is Titus Welliver. Congratulations, Titus.
It's not rigged. It's not rigged.
Thanks for tuning in to Strike a Pose. What was your favorite pose? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.
Hello there, I am Martin Canale, and you are watching Sideshow Con.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Sideshow New York Con. I'm Wendy, this is Jeff, and we are back in the Sideshow New York Con booth. Oh my gosh, It's been so much fun this afternoon exploring everything with you. And of course, to our viewers at home, thank you so much for tuning in. And we do want to let you know if you have any questions, anything you want to sort of, we want us to revisit that we saw today, go ahead and put that in the chat and the mods will get them to us. And thank you, mods, for all of your hard work. Now, Jeff, we are standing next to 1/10 scale Iron Studios.
The Iron Studios, here's something fun that I really like. 1/10 scale is not a scale that I was really familiar with, and I've been seeing them a lot more lately, and Iron Studios has nailed this scale. Now, we talked about this off camera, because you know this, I'm a huge Batman fan.
Of course.
I make my living being a Batman fan. I do shows about it, I'm obsessed. And the Batman 66 TV series, so much fun. Adam West, I used to watch it as a real action show as a kid. Now I watch it as a comedy. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. The fact that they were all into it, so good. And one of the classic moments was the surf off. So real quick, while we're collating those questions, comments, and concerns, I asked for permission to talk about some of these pieces.
Amazing.
And first off, I want to talk about Batman, the Adam West version of Batman 66 on his surfboard. If you look right there, he's holding up his classic from the film, from the Batman film, the shark repellent, the bat shark repellent, as he is surfing a wave, hanging 10, big kahuna, doing that right there. I love that he's got the shorts,
over
the Bermuda shorts pulled up over the costume. It's so funny.
Yet still with the utility belt.
It's so funny. Like that show, revisit it if you haven't, with the understanding that it is a comedy and everybody's in on the joke. It is a perfect show. Once you think about it like that. And having this in there, you know, like originally as a kid, I would have been like, that's dumb. That's not what Batman does. It's so brilliant. It's the perfect thing. And I am obsessed with that. I know they released action figures of it a couple years back. I got those. I'm definitely going to get a hold of these because we see, you know, to his right, our left, of course, you'll see the Cesar Romero Joker. And one of the best things about this, and I love that they do this, you can even see the mustache, the actor's mustache with the grease paint over it. Such a classic and wonderful part of the 1966 era Joker. Such a fun and amazing episode from such a fun and amazing show. The performances were so good. I love watching that. I want these two pieces. I'm definitely going to be getting these.
I really love about the Joker is that this is a very Joker-like pose. You're not only surfing the waves, but he's got one leg up.
Well,
that's some core strength.
He's hot dogging it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If there's anything, you know, he's got that ripped core.
And earlier when we were looking at the other Iron Studio figure, which is the Joker, based on the movie, you were talking about how much you love seeing water effects in the pieces. And of course we have our waves curling over the surfboards here.
So classic, that beach blue that you see in the wave kind of coming in where it crests over. I love seeing that clear, semi-opaque,
a little translucent.
Yes, I love seeing that material being used in these pieces. Like I said, 1/10 scale is not something that was necessarily on my radar. Most of what I knew was 6 scale, quarter scale, and the occasional 3rd scale, or like the full 1-to-1 scale stuff. 10th scale to me is so fun.
It is. It really is.
It really, really is cool to see those pieces in there. Now, now that you let me talk about that, is there anything, questions, comments, or concerns that we get relayed to us from the viewers?
I don't see anything from the mods quite yet, so we are okay, but I am keeping an eye out.
So let's talk about the mini-codes then.
Let's talk about the mini-codes.
How about the mini-codes? We'll start with the Nolan-verse, the Dark Knight era mini-codes here. The Batman mini-codes, such a fun vibe that you get from these pieces right here. And I like that we have something so serious, because I think we can all agree that, thank you, that the Dark Knight trilogy is by far like the most serious version of Batman that we get. And to take that, to be able to port it into the very sort of classic, kind of adorable vibe that you get from the Mini-Co line, but by making it also seem serious and menacing.
Yes.
Which we sort of can see, especially in that Joker character. You know, that Batman, the Batman Mini-Co looks very stoic, very strong, very ready for it. that Joker looks menacing.
Yes.
Like if that thing came to life, I wouldn't have a good day.
You would probably want to make your way out of the room when that happens.
Yeah, right. But it's got like the mask from the beginning. He's got the Joker card. So two pieces that are establishing himself in the early era of that film, and just seeing it translate in there. Huge fan of the Dark Knight trilogy. I love versions of Batman, even the stuff that I used to be like, eh. Now I'm just like, no, I get it. We've had a lot of Batman.
Yes,
we've gotten a lot, and that's great. And I love the new and interesting takes that we get on that. Here's an unpopular opinion from me. Batfleck is my favorite Batman.
There you go.
You know, that's not everybody's. But like, I like the new fun things in there. I love The Dark Knight. I love how serious it was, how good it was, how well written it was. It's just such a fun thing. And to see it be ported into these mini-cos, really, really cool.
Really, really cool. And I do like that the both of them are holding something. And as you mentioned, Joker is holding the clown mask and, of course, the signature card. And we have Batman, of course, with the signature Batarang.
With the Batarang.
The Batarang. Right? And the cape. The cape. I have to talk about the cape. I'm a cape girl.
You're a cape girl.
Yeah, blowing in the wind.
Yeah, the cape. Yeah,
I can't.
It's me saying that's my impression of it. Thank you very much. Now, do we have anything yet?
Not quite yet. So we're gonna move on to these other. Yes.
Batman '89. I would say. It's great too what we have here because we were lucky enough to get the mini-co pieces from The Dark Knight and Batman '89. And I would say if you were to ask your average person their favorite Batman movie, 80% of your answers are going to be either Batman '89 or The Dark Knight.
Absolutely.
And so Batman '89, of course, we have Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. This is the sort of era that started the rebirth of superheroes. With the success of Batman, and obviously we're going to be pushing to Batman Returns and Batman Forever, you're starting to get a ton of movies greenlit from independent comics companies even.
Yes.
You know, we got a million things. This is the movie that really did it. You know, this is the one that did it.
I agree.
Superman was successful, back in the 70s, and they pushed it in Superman 2. Then it kind of like fizzled out a little bit, and then Batman came back and just kicked in the window.
Yeah, like the resurgence, if you will.
Look, Michael Keaton, unbelievable, so good, such a legend.
Absolutely.
And that version of Batman, that Tim Burton era, the suit with like the armored abs and everything like that. And then next to him we have Jack Nicholson as the Joker. In a million years I would never have chosen Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and yet he showed up and owned that movie.
Right?
So funny.
So good.
I laugh at so many things he did. Like with the Bob the Goon at the end, when he's just all angry and he's like, Bob, give me a gun. Boom, and then shoots his best friend. That's so funny, such a Joker move.
Yes, exactly.
The one interesting thing about these two Jokers is just how different they are, and yet how equally menacing they are.
Yes.
You have a suave, sophisticated mobster in the Jack Nicholson version, and you have that grungy anarchist in the Heath Ledger version from The Dark Knight. We see that he's walking, he's got the nice suit, he's got the cane, he's really kind of owning the room in that mini-co piece. And then you have the Michael Keaton Batman looking really not happy about it.
Really, really not happy.
Yeah.
It's funny if you look at both of the mini-cos, different Batmans, same scowl.
Yeah, and what's cool about that is that you have that gargoyle sort of connecting that in there, so you have the full vibe of that, because the gargoyle was such an important part of the end of the film.
Absolutely.
So shout out to whoever was the art team on that one for really giving us that nod to the grand finale
it's all
of that.
about the little extra touches.
Yeah. Oh God, I love Batman.
Well, going from Batman, we are going to talk about also another lady in the DC universe. Let's talk about Wonder Woman.
Let's talk about Wonder Woman, because I love the popularity of this character. If you know the history, of Wonder Woman showing up, being that sort of strong sort of like era in the World War II push and everything like that, and the evolution of the character is so great. We see the Wonder Woman Deluxe 10th scale statue. Pardon me, I got a mouthful of mush here. When I saw this armor, how did you react when you saw this armor?
I freaked out. I gasped, but no sound came out. It was like a...
Yeah. It's funny too, because obviously you don't want to speak for, the creators of that film, but I got a very Kingdom Come vibe from that. If you read that comic with Mark Waid and Alex Ross, such a great piece. And that armor that she'd had there.
Coming to a point there.
Yeah, and to implement that into the Amazonian thing. What I love about the movies that we're seeing now is the vibe that and the love that they give to the comics.
Yes.
That's so important to me as a huge comics fan. I'm a big supporter of artists and everything like that. I love seeing this. I'm so excited about this movie. I'm so excited that they incorporated the comics into their comic book movie.
Yes.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. I can't wait to see this armor come to life on film. And we're talking about dynamic posing and making a statue, even though it is static, looking like it's in motion. That lasso is really in full movement here.
The lasso and the wings.
And the wings.
I am with you 1,000% on that. The motion that you get from that lasso and those wings gives you full motion in a static position. And that is something that you do not get every day.
You don't, and I don't think lassos are easy to do. And the way they did it, it looks like it's fluid. It maybe look like she's swinging her lasso, maybe to as she's facing off Cheetah, maybe probably.
That sounds about right,
Yeah.
I believe, from what we've pieced together about the film. I mean, we don't know, we haven't seen it yet, but
only trailers.
Yeah, we've only seen trailers, but that could very well happen. I love what they did with the Wonder Woman character in the DCEU. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with her and how we're going to follow her storyline to get to the point that we now have her in sort of like the Justice League and Batman versus Superman. Because these are all prequel stories that we're seeing build up.
And that's just so exciting. There's so much more to explore. And speaking of things to explore, right next to the armored, the golden armor Wonder Woman, we have Wonder Woman standing back to back with her younger self.
What a great idea for a statue.
Yes.
I love this. And you know what's cool too is that oftentimes we don't see children incorporated into the pieces very often.
Exactly right.
They captured it so well. And we have this sort of stoic strength. Remember when we were talking about like motion earlier? Sometimes a statue is best when it is strongly static.
Yes.
And that's what we get here. You get strength from a character. And of course, with Wonder Woman, a classically feminine character, to get a portrait of strength being shown, because we know she's strong because we've read the comics, we've seen the shows, but to see it in a statue, just the air of strength that we get while maintaining that sort of strength, feminine beauty, stoicism, it's so cool. And then the story that you get from young Diana and adult Diana, what a great piece.
And what I really like is that you were saying earlier that we don't really get to see the younger, characters, kids, portrayed in figures like this one. And this is what I really like, especially when you pose them back to back, really tells a lot of a story, how young Diana, what kind of journey she had to take to become Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it is cool too, because we see a lot of this in films where we'll see a flashback with a kid and then and then they're like, okay, that's the end. But they keep going back to young Diana.
Yes.
Which is great. I love that they do
origin
that.
Story.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to tell that. It's like with Batman. Like we've seen that a million times.
Right.
But with Wonder Woman, it's important because of all the training, all the hardships, and all the work that she's had to put on.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Jeff, we have some of our viewers wanting to see go back to the Star Wars Mythos.
Oh, okay.
Which I know you're already there.
Oh, okay.
He's already. I didn't even say it yet.
Oh, hey, it's me, Jeff. You want to take a look at these right here?
He's already there, and we do have requests to see the Mythos Vader.
Oh, okay, yeah. I talked it up for a reason.
You did.
Let's get in on that. Let's get in on that Mythos Vader. One of the things that I want you, the viewer, to pay attention to as well is that color. The paint on that is so unbelievable. The reflection of the lava, right, that we see, and I referred to it earlier, the scene of the crime. Of course, we see he's returned to where sort of Darth Vader really became more machine than man at that point in time, and we see that that's actually not the case in the run. And this is that fight interior fight right there. More machine or man. He is looking at the machine as the man.
Or is he really saying goodbye to his former self, saying goodbye to Anakin and putting that away before he puts on the mask?
I guess you can make
It could be that too. There's a, Anakin really is a complex character.
Yeah, one of the coolest things is the scarring, bald, burnt Anakin. Wouldn't that be funny if that's all I said? Isn't that funny? But like the young version of that. I mean, you can see it.
Yes.
And I like that about it because we only always see him as being like kind of like the old, they used to like derisively say the Humpty Dumpty Vader, where it was that, but we don't have that here. We have the young sort of like still at that sort of level of physical, well, I don't want to say wellness, look at the scars and everything like that.
Yes.
But he is really young. But I love that you can feel the heat. It's like I'm standing in front of a blast furnace just by looking at this piece.
Yes.
Because he is sort of contemplating, I do really see that as the conflict between man and machine in that Mythos piece. I think it's really conveyed very strongly to me. And that might be why I like it so much, because I relate to that because I'm also half of a robot.
Yeah, and I really like just the little extra pieces of his cape, his robe, if you will, kind of being cinched because of where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really tells a story. And we do have another viewer request to take a look at Venom from PCS. And again, the new PCS website is collectpcs.com. Now, Jeff, you and I already geeked over this. This is literally the tallest piece we have in this booth.
This is the third scale statue. And it's one of those things where I think we're most commonly seeing quarter scale statues.
Right.
And we sometimes forget that how much bigger a third scale is. And then when you're doing it with such a massive character.
Yeah.
I mean, Venom is the linebacker of characters in the Spider-Man universe. He's so massive and huge. It would be easy. And as we're in here, one of the things I want to talk about, it would be easy to do one color of black the whole way.
Of course, right.
But one of the things that I think is very important is to look at the slickness of the base.
That oiliness.
And
slippery.
The sort of gradual shift in this where when it's on the body, it has that striation and shading that we get there. But as the little tendrils come off from the symbiote, like if you look right up here, this is the same color as the base.
Yes.
Like up here on one of the little blob tendrils here, as it's coming off here, that color is gradually changing to have that inky black versus that sort of like that oily kind of vibe that we get where it's on the body.
I mean, there's just so much to look at with this piece, and also to remind everybody that there are two different portraits for this one. The one with the tongue out, kind of that classic Venom with the tongue. But I really like this one, seeing how the teeth fit together. And of course, you mentioned this earlier. The kind of what did you say? The tartar, the teeth.
Oh, the teeth. Yeah, the tartar and the plaque.
Tartar, yes, I couldn't think of the words. And it just looks really, really, really fantastic.
Yeah, I like that because again, when we talk about color choices, it could be white or could be, it's not. It's that sort of like filthy stained tooth in there. So we do like that.
It's been really amazing, Jeff, to geek out over all of these pieces with you. What has been your favorite in this booth?
Why you gotta throw that at me?
I'm so okay. You top three. Top three.
Top three. Well, I have to shout out to my man Mythos Darth Vader.
Of course.
Because of course, Mythos Obi-Wan as well. One of that, but I do have to give it up to this Venom piece.
The Venom, right?
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Take a look at him.
And I think that's a good place where we can end our booth tour for today. So why don't you go ahead and join me on this side of
I sure will. It's going to be hard for me to get this one out of the booth.
You can't touch.
Well, I
you
can't run away
this one
with
under your shirt, Jeff.
I can't do it. Sorry. I'll need a bigger shirt. Maybe an XL next time.
So if you reach for an XXL shirt, watch out.
They'll know why.
Watch out. Yeah. So we won't have those available for you.
It was so much fun getting to do this booth tour with you. I love geeking out. I want to do this every day. Let's do this every day.
Let's do this every day.
I've been told no. I've been told absolutely not.
That Sideshow New York Con is not over.
No, it's not.
We still have 2 more days of Sideshow New York Con. That means tomorrow and Sunday, and of course, with more new content that you guys still haven't seen yet. So make sure you do check back. And guess what? we're not done with content. Later at 5 o'clock today, we have the daily wrap-up that's going to be on Facebook. There will be giveaways and surprises. Let's see. At 7 p.m., we have Ink Tank, hosted by Alex Aronowitz, with special guest Matt Brooks.
Mark Brooks, by the way, just guested Sideshow.
You sure did.
Good friend of mine, great episode. You should definitely check that out.
I love him.
Oh, he did Stabby. That's one of my favorite pieces.
Joe Delegata.
Get out of here.
I know.
All three?
So many. I know. I know.
Okay.
That is
all
at
right,
7
sign me up for it.
Ink Tank.
All right, watch Ink Tank at 7 because you got all three of those guys on the same episode. That is nuts.
That is nuts. And of course, tomorrow, like I said, we will be back in the booth. You will have Vanessa and Amy. And we're also going to have a special visit from Guy, our favorite, Guy Klender.
Oh.
Yes, taking a look at a couple Hot Toy figures that you guys still haven't seen yet this week. So we will all see you tomorrow back here at Sideshow New York Con. And don't forget to let your geek side show.